morning and welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living here on Airport Boulevard. Yay, good morning. It is a good morning. And I'd like to welcome you. My name is Mary Ann Atwell-Hardy. I'm a licensed spiritual practitioner here. And we are going to start this morning the same way we start every Sunday morning, and that is with some quiet meditation. Centering ourselves and getting grounded, being totally present to this moment, helps us be able to open to the truth, open to how the service will unfold, what we will hear. So I just invite you to take a breath, however you do that. This morning I'm using a breathe in 5, breathe out 5. It's a breath for balance. Breathe in 5. Breathe out 5. And I'm going to read one of the passages from Ernest Holmes' 365 Days, because with so much hatred, with so much suffering, with so much animosity in the world towards those that are other than us, I thought it would be helpful to remind each one of us that we're all one. So this is, I stay open to the presence of Spirit everywhere. The Spirit of God, which is life, is present everywhere. Like the air we breathe, it presses against us. On the mountaintop, in the valley, in the desert, and in the ocean. There is no place where life is not. Therefore, in whatsoever direction we move in God. In God we live, move, and have our being. God is one undivided and indivisible wholeness, one divine and spiritual presence, one universal and all-encompassing person. Perhaps it's a little difficult for us to understand the meaning of such an all-inclusive person, but the very fact that we are personalities presupposes such a conclusion. Our endeavor then is not so much to find God, to discover the source of our personal being, as it is to become acquainted with God. Today, I consciously commune with Spirit. I know that it presses against me and flows through me. I endeavor to feel this presence as a living reality in my life. Knowing that the divine presence is in everyone, I sense that the Spirit is in everyone I meet. I do my best to respond to this Spirit, seeing it everywhere. I keep my consciousness open and alert that I may better understand the union of all life with its pure and perfect source. So, holding these words as truth in your heart, I invite you to just get quiet for 15 minutes and know that all is one and all is well. thank you for being part of setting the stage for what will unfold. And that will start in 15 minutes at 10:15. See you then. Bye.
Good morning, everyone. Woo, what a nice crowd it is here today. Thank you all so very much for joining us, whether you're here in the sanctuary at 4 Points by Sheridan or you've invited us into your home today. We're very glad that you have joined us. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Dusty Rippelmeyer, and I have the privilege and the honor of being this community's spiritual director. We're part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living. And at Centers for Spiritual Living, we believe that there is one power and presence that is back of everything that there is, seen and unseen. We believe that that presence is loving, benevolent, everywhere at all times, within us and surrounding us, and that it is that energy that created us. Each and every single one of us, with absolutely no exceptions, is an ambassador, a divine and unique expression of the divine, here to really bring all of the divinity's amazing qualities to the earth in our own unique and individualized ways. We believe that God is creative, and because we were created in its image and likeness, then we too are creative and actually have been creating the experiences of our lives, all of our lives, whether we've been aware of it or not. So consciously or unconsciously, the experiences that we're having in our life, we have created. And some of you might be thinking, oh my God, no, I had absolutely nothing to do with this experience. However, I kind of think it's the good news, because if you don't like what you're going through, then you have an opportunity to change it. Change your thinking, change your life is more than just a bumper sticker. And so we come together on Sundays and on Wednesdays and for classes and for social events to remind each other who we really are at our very core, to support each other as we move through the ups and downs of life, and to absolutely know that we can together create a world that works for everyone. And so we're very, very glad that you have joined us today. I have a couple of flower dedications for us this morning, and the first is, I know some November birthday people have been waiting for this announcement, because it is the first Sunday of the month, and always on the first Sunday of the month we dedicate the flowers to anyone that is there's a lot of commotion going on over here right now. Wow. I think she might be having a birthday. I'm not quite sure, but I think that might be the case. Anyway, so for all of the people that are, anybody else celebrating a birthday? See, there's a lot of people in November that are celebrating their birthdays. Yes, and I'm sure there are many more of you out there too. So we can't, of course, say everybody's name, because I don't want to forget anybody or leave anybody off that list. So we're just going to dedicate the flowers today to everybody who has a birthday in November. Let's see if this sounds like you. People born in November are so different from others. They are so unique that it's hard to find someone like them. What makes them different is that they do things their own way. And their ideas are out of this world because they prefer to think outside of the box. This isn't a difficult task, as they are very high on innovation and creativity. They have a certain way of doing things which leaves a lasting impression on whoever they come across. They don't care what others do. They make their own and unique way of doing things. They prefer to take the road that no one else, not even the one that's less traveled, the one that no one else has ever even taken before. People who celebrate their birthdays in November are blessed with a hard-working nature. Such people believe in giving their 100% and extracting best possible results from whatever they work on. They are not people who procrastinate. Oh, wait a minute. Let me scratch that out a little bit. They prefer to do things on time without any delay, because if they make a mistake or get stuck, they have time to correct it. They know that they're not perfect, but they always try to stay fully committed to anything that they are doing or involved in. People born in November are usually calm and can and can control their emotions unless they're provoked to the maximum. I'm not quite sure where I got this information. People born in November often prefer to keep things on how they feel to themselves. They don't like people knowing about their deepest secrets, fearing they will be judged. But that doesn't stop them from offering their shoulder to lean on for people that are in need. They may be secretive and private, but they will always be there for you. People born in this month are the most loyal people that you will ever meet. When it concerns their relationships with friends, family, and partners, they will never let you down. You can trust them with all of your heart. They also do not judge others for their points of view or opinions, and instead, they respect that. People love to be in their witty and laid-back presence. So everyone, put your arms out to all of those people having November birthdays. We see you. We know who you are. We are grateful for you. And we celebrate you. And we love you. And so it is. Happy birthday, everybody. Happy birthday. And so now let's just take a deep breath. Let's calm down for just a moment. And let's allow ourselves to take in a nice deep breath. Because this morning we are taking a few moments to commemorate the life of Diane Schwartz, beloved sister of our dear community member, Lisa Mandolin, who made her transition this past Thursday. The soul, a perfect child of God, is now finding a more fitting expression in a higher level of experience. She has changed only in her relationship to us. Please join me in sending prayers of love, light, strength, and peace to Diane and all who knew and loved her, including her children, Cary, Kyle, Aaron, and Drew, and of course, to Lisa. May many years of happy times be kept alive in their hearts, minds, and souls, and may her memory forever be a blessing to all who knew her. And so it is. Thank you all. And now in this moment, I would like to thank Marianne for her wonderful meditation that really expanded and enlarged the container that our service will unfold within. And so thank you very much, Marianne. And let's please welcome her back to the pulpit.
Good morning. All right, the theme for the year 2023 is Living Out Loud. And our theme for the month of November is the mundane, the sacred, and the profane. Oh my. And Rev Dusty's talk title today is The Sacred. I'm now going to read this community's purpose statement, which is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. So I invite you in this moment to just take a pause. Close your eyes, soften your gaze. whatever helps you calm inside, and listen to the sounds of the crystal bowls. And I suggest that you listen all the way to the end and let the sounds just wash over you. Back into your bodies, back into your rooms, returning from Mount Shasta with gratitude to Ashana for her beautiful playing of the crystal bowls. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths, as represented by this ceremony. Please welcome Rebecca Figueroa and Rebecca Fouts, who will be assisting us this morning. Thank you both. Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the paths of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion.
Science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principle of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart, the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings everywhere, with no exceptions. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths. And so it is. Thank you both. I now invite you to turn within as I speak a word of blessing on today's service, recognizing the divine, that amazing presence that surrounds us, fuels us, funds us in every conceivable way. I know that presence as comfort, as grace, as unconditional love, infinite intelligence and wisdom. I know that I am one with all of those amazing qualities of the divine. There is no separation. I know that as the truth of me, as I know that is the truth of each person within the sound of my voice, each sentient being on this planet. I speak these words today for our community, for this Sunday celebration service, this opportunity for our community to gather here in person at 4 Points, online in real time, and online in the future, knowing that it is all the same fellowship, all the same love. So grateful to know that this blessing of this service, that we have this anchor every Sunday, blessing our amazing senior minister, Reverend Dusty, for the presence that she is in each of our lives, for the leadership that she offers in our community, for the huge heart that she has for each of us. I bless Mary Ann for her presence, for the beautiful meditation that she facilitated starting today service. Blessing Sandy Hemingway as he comes forth with his gift of amazing music to lift our hearts. Blessing Ava for her service to our community, facilitating the AV. Blessing our beautiful volunteers today, Rebecca, Amy, and Martin. So grateful for their presence and their willingness to assist in setting this room up for us today. And so grateful for each of you, each person that makes up this center, for the presence that you have in our lives, for the gifts that you give, for your time, talent, and treasure, and for the light that you are. We wouldn't be who we are without you, and we are so blessed. I'm so grateful for all of these blessings, and so it is. Today's reading is from Ernest Holmes. He says, "There is not a day in my life that goes by that I do not take the time to unify myself and my consciousness with big things, to think I am one with all activities, all industries, all commerce, and to just feel that." And now, please help me in welcoming the wonderful, the amazing, talented Sandy Hemingway.
Thank you. When I saw the title, The Sacred, this song just immediately came to mind. And last night was the first night my heat ran all night, and it blew out all of the dust accumulated from the 9 months of non-use. And so I woke up with a bit of a frog in my throat. So if I don't sound quite like myself, feel free. You know the song. Join in. Why are there so many songs about rainbows, and what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know the wrong way and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it. Look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? And what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell. We know that it's probably magic. Have you been half asleep? And have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that calls the young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. La da da dee da da do. La la da 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 dee da do.
That was beautiful, Sandy. And when you started talking and introducing this song, I immediately sent out a little prayer for your wholeness. And I guess it can include your tomfoolery. So welcome to those of you who may have just arrived in the sanctuary or just turned on your television set at home. As Marianne said, our theme for the month of November is the profane, the mundane, the sacred, and the profane. Oh my. Oh my. I'll get it right by the end of the month, I'm sure. Now, throughout the month, we're going to examine each one of these three, right? The ordinary, mundane life, the seemingly sacred life, and the profane or secular life, and the way that they are all intertwined. So in this moment, I would love for you to just, soften your gaze a little bit, or perhaps even close your eyes if you're comfortable in doing so, and just allow this reading by Mirabai Starr from her book, Wild Mercies, to just wash over you. The contemplative life flows in a circular pattern. Awe provokes introspection, and which invokes awe. Maybe you're making dinner, and you step outside to snip chives from the garden, just as the harvest moon is rising over the eastern slopes. She is full and golden, like one of those pregnant women who radiate from within. Suddenly, you cannot bear the beauty. Scissors suspended in your hand, tears pulling at the corners of your eyes, you nearly quit breathing. Your gaze softens and the edges of your individual identity fade. You are absorbed into the heart of the moon. It feels natural, and there is no other place that you would rather be. But the onions are burning, and so you turn away and you cut your herbs and you go back inside. You resume stirring the sauce and setting the table. This is not the first time you have disappeared into something beautiful. You have experienced the unfettering of the subject-object distinction while holding your daughter's hand as she labored to give birth to your grandson. When you curled up in bed with your dying friend and sang her the Haviskanu, the Hebrew prayer for a peaceful sleep. You have lost yourself in heartbreak, then lost the desire to ever regain yourself, then lost your fear of death. You long ago relinquished your need for cosmic order and personal control. You welcome unknowingness. Which is why seemingly ordinary moments like moonrises and lovemaking undo you. The veil has been pulled back. Everything feels inexhaustibly holy. This is not what they taught you in the church of your childhood. Your soul has been formed in the forge of life's losses, galvanized in the crucible of community, fertilized by the rain of friendship, blessed by your intimacy with Mother Nature. You have glimpsed the face of the divine where you have least expected it. Deep breath. For those of you who like order, specifically the order of the November theme, as it was just mutilated, I apologize. I apologize because I'm not going to do it in order. I'm starting today with the sacred. And I'm doing so because I can. And because isn't that where everything begins anyway? So there are many different interpretations of this idea of the sacred. However, there are some common characteristics that are recognized by the majority of people when you ask them what it means for something to be sacred. And they include, number one, it's separated from the common world. Number two, it expresses the ultimate total value and meaning of life. And number three, it is the eternal reality, which is recognized to have been here long before it was known, and to be known in a way that is very different from the ways that we know the common world. A person or thing is designated as sacred when it's unique or extraordinary or mysterious or powerful. More broadly, sacred can refer to something that someone cherishes, something that someone feels is precious, something that someone would really think about respectfully and even reverently, to which they are more often than not really dedicated to, like honesty or human rights or the light in the eyes of a child or truth or beauty or peace. We all need access, right? We all need access to whatever it is in our heart of hearts that we feel is most precious and most worthy of reverence and being protected. Imagine a life in which nothing was sacred to us, or to anyone else for that matter. I can't even imagine how empty that would really be. On the other hand, we sometimes confuse sacred with what I want it to be. And I mean, that's understandable. We all want life to be what we want it to be, but that's not what sacredness is. The peace that surpasses all understanding appears when we stop fighting with what is. When we stop fighting with what is. In life, being with what life is something that we get to practice a lot. This means dropping our resistance to whatever comes up. We don't have to like it and we don't have to be on board with it, but if we truly understand sacredness, we know that nothing can appear in our reality without us actually inviting it in some way or another. Sacredness arises when we get curious about patterns, about energies, about our beliefs, about our thoughts, about the experiences that show up in our life. This leads us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and a deeper understanding of life itself. The invitation is to remember that sacredness is nothing more and nothing less than a reflection of each and every single one of us. A reflection of each and every single one of us. We see wholeness, love, peace, joy, abundance, and wisdom whenever we are embodying those qualities in ourselves. And we see separation or competition or limitation or lack or fear or judgment when we are embodying those things in ourselves. As always, we see through the eyes of what we are. Therefore, we see sacredness when we are embodying sacredness. Now, some people use the term sacred as a noun. And in this case, right, the sacred is the power, the presence, the being, or the realm that is understood by spiritual people to be at the core of our being. And that which can have a transformative effect on our lives. Some call this energy, this being, this presence, source, or God, or goddess, or creation, or love, or perhaps in such terms like holy, or divine, or transcendent, or the ultimate being, or the ultimate reality, or mysterious, or even perfection, or purity. Now, for some, it's the go-to term for the divinity that is within us. The go-to term for the divinity that is inclusive of everything and everyone. For the divinity that allows us to define the term for ourselves and to align ourselves with the truth of our being, with the God of our understanding, with something that is greater or bigger than we are. Our awareness of the sacred leads us on a path of discovery and an understanding that we are inextricably connected to its presence. We know that the sacred is not far off in our dreams or even separated from ourselves at all. Right? We know that the sacred can be found in everything and in everyone. The more committed that we are to really maintaining, sustaining this inner connection to sacredness, the more we will attract sacredness into our lives and into our relationships. As our love grows, so will the love that appears in our life. It's a simple equation. Not always easy to do, but it is a simple equation. When we're able to move past the surface of things or the appearance of things, then we can see sacredness transformed into the very activity of life itself. Sacredness is not a concept, which means that it has very little to do with the analytical mind. Very little to do with that mind. In fact, when the mind tries to really understand sacredness, or God, or the universe, or the infinite, in all probability it's going to short-circuit itself a little bit. That is because the mind operates in duality from this belief or this idea of separation. The mind loves to categorize and to really define everything, saying that this is good and this over here is bad. However, this is duality in action, and it really misses the whole point. Sacredness exists beyond separation, beyond the mind, and beyond all rational thinking. If a relationship is anything, it's everything. It doesn't look a certain way. It simply looks like whatever is showing up in front of us at the time. And there can be nothing more sacred than that. Hard to believe. But whatever it is that's showing up right now in this moment in front of us is the most sacred thing that could be ever showing up for us at that moment. Nothing will take the sacredness out of a relation faster than definitions and concepts and shoulds and demands and only ifs. They blind us from seeing the divinity that is right there in that moment. Sacredness can only be found when we step outside of the theoretical and actually step into that perfect now moment. So, how can we do that? How can we do that? The first idea is to carve out some space. In order to establish or to reestablish our connection with the sacred, we need to create the space and the time to do so. Like any spiritual practice, whether it's coming to service on Sundays or doing a ritual or walking in nature or prayer, for example, connecting with the sacred really requires that we make it a priority. And then not only do we make it a priority, but that we ensure that the space is there and available for that priority, for us to handle that priority, for us to be with that priority. Now, the good news is that connecting to the sacred doesn't require a ton of time for those of us that don't have a lot of time. Now, it's something that can be done in as little as, just a good deep breath, or a few minutes, or 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be an hour. It's simply a matter of creating the space. Now, often this idea of creating the space doesn't have to do with a geographical location, but it has to do with creating space within our consciousness. So the very nature of the brain is to categorize and to label, right? And to compare and to contrast. And it can take a good deal of unlearning and intention to really step out of that evolutionary pattern. Now, we can begin by making steps towards developing a new mindset or a new paradigm for living or a new worldview that actually looks beyond the surface and appearance of things for the truth, for beauty, for awareness itself. This shift in framework really expands, creates this expansive view of ourselves and about others and about the world. It calls us to lean into life, to really operate from a new vantage point, perhaps a higher vantage point or a more focused vantage point, to explore the sacred in both the expected and in the unexpected. For example, where we might have before not really noticed something or overlooked something in our experience, we begin to place our attention and our intention on those places, on those experiences. And when we do so through this different lens, then the label that was sacred, that was once reserved for just our meditation cushion, now expands to include all of life itself, all of the experiences of our lives, like, brushing our teeth or vacuuming, doing the laundry, having a conversation with each other. The shift becomes a catalyst, and really before we know it, the sacred is everywhere at all times. And we're aware of that. And we live our lives from that space. The second idea is meditation itself. Meditation is another really strong means of connecting with the sacred. When we find a place of stillness, we give ourselves the space to really drop any mental, spiritual, emotional, energetic, physical kinds of baggage that we may have been carrying around. And when we drop away all of this internal and external noise, then we are able to connect with the sacred, and we're able to hear and to experience its presence in that moment. Now, I know that there are many people within the sound of my voice, whether you're in this room or you're out there listening, that struggle with meditation, that find it very hard to do or to think that it could ever be quiet or meditative or reflective. But what I really want for each of us to hear is that it is absolutely possible for each and every single one of us to meditate. It's a spiritual practice, and it takes some practice, and another big thing about it is that we may need to really adjust or to broaden our idea of what meditation is in theory and in practice, and then to create a new mental equivalent of it for ourselves in our own minds so that we can step into it in a way that really works for us. It doesn't have to look like a certain thing. It doesn't have to be a certain way. The truth is that meditation can be something as simple as sitting in the bathtub and closing your eyes for a few moments. It can be like sitting down and paying attention to our breath. It can be as simple as going into the bathroom, closing the door and your eyes, taking a good deep breath before you open the door to those 25-year-olds that are coming for the slumber party or going home for your family's Christmas Eve, whatever it is. Pausing outside of the door before you go in to talk to your boss. Closing your eyes, taking a breath. Meditation can be anything. It depends entirely on what we feel comfortable with. And allowing it to show up however it does. There's no fancy clothes or tools or mantras that are necessary. Meditation is simply slowing down, hitting pause, and then listening. It can be easy for us to see the sacred in contemplative practices such as meditation. The connection for us felt that we feel during those moments could literally be palpable. Like, whew, goosebumps, or a shiver, or an incredible amount of peace that washes over us. It can be palpable. In those moments, the reality of our own divinity and the connection to all there is becomes highlighted, becomes front and center in our consciousness. It is that feeling of connection that leads us to categorize such experiences or activities as sacred. The reality is that this connection doesn't only have to be felt during those kinds of contemplative moments. It can happen as easily when we're walking in nature or when we're riding on a mountain trail or when we're dancing to our favorite music or when we're engaged in meaningful conversations. Such examples and more can serve as conduits for that deep and abiding experience of connection. And it is in these moments that we really are invited to step outside of our literal minds and to nurture the awareness of that connection. Because when we do so, we allow the sacred to really shine through that moment. And it can become, as Mirabai Starr talked about, something that just takes us away for a second or two. And that can happen in any given moment. Mirabai Starr goes on to say, this is why you cultivate contemplative practice. The more you intentionally turn inward, the more available the sacred becomes. When you sit in silence and turn your gaze toward the holy mystery you once called God, the mystery follows you back into the world. I love that. It follows you back into the world. So you sit down to meditate, not only because it helps you to find rest in the arms of the formless beloved, but also because it increases your chances of being stunned by beauty when you get back up. In the midst of a world that is begging you to distract yourself, this is no easy practice. And yet, you keep showing up. The third idea is being of service. There's sometimes no better way to connect with the sacred than through acts of service. Acts that stir within us an energy of passion or an energy of activity or an energy of unconditional love. Now, this may outpicture in our interactions with others, our care for marginalized communities, our dedication to a cause, our movements toward our own personal transformation, and what we bring and contribute to the collective evolution. The sacred is saying yes when we are called to say yes. Stepping out into the unknown and really bringing our authentic selves to the activity of life. The commitment to the flow in life, its essence, becomes one of our most sacred acts. That idea of giving way to the flow of life. We're not giving anything away, we're giving way to the flow of life, and it is a sacred act. To breathe in and breathe out and move in ways that speak to our connection with all that is. It can be showing up for someone in a time of need, volunteering within our community, being totally present and a reverent listener to whomever we happen to be engaging with in the moment, or any other thing that we're doing to donate our time, talent to our favorite cause or to anyone at any time. When we serve, we surrender to and are used in the service of something greater. The bottom line is that sacredness is a felt experience. Remember, it's not a concept. It's not something that we can talk about with our literal mind. It is a felt experience. It's a knowing deep within, a knowing of who you really are. The invitation is to step into the sacred in all arenas of our lives and to really recognize then that the sacred becomes not a static object or a static activity or even an ideology, but it becomes the very action of our lives, calling us to a deeper understanding of oneness and that all-encompassing reach of our unity with each other and with the divine. It becomes a way of seeing ourselves, a way of seeing others, and a way of moving around the world. So the invitation today is to carve out the space and the time to get quiet and to nurture our personal relationship with the sacred. To truly know who we are at our very core, to feel its love filling us up and then allowing that love to spill out from us, showering every relationship and every arena of our lives with its healing grace. The invitation is to serve or to continue to serve from a place of our deep connection with all that is sacred. To really allow that sacredness to inform our actions, our way of being in the world, and then to watch, just watch, as the world becomes one that actually does work for everyone. And so it is. So it is. So I just invite everyone to turn within, to really put a pause on this day, to allow ourselves the space to get quiet, and to know that this is the perfect space. Whenever two or more are gathered, it is the perfect space for each of us to take this time, to close our eyes, to get quiet, to turn within, and to allow ourselves to turn our attention and intention to the sacred that is within us, the sacred that is all around us. I love knowing that it's there. I love knowing that in a moment, a good deep breath, I can lean into it. I love knowing that it is part of who I am, that I can never be separate from it, And just as I know that this is my truth, I know that it is the truth of each and every single person here, each and every single person out there that is watching us in this moment or will watch us later. We are connected to the sacred. That sacredness is who we are. And as we allow ourselves to express it, to embody it, and then to express it out into the world, we draw more of it into our lives. And so in this moment, from this place of deep connection, this oneness, this unity, I claim ease and grace for us around living our lives from that space. From knowing its expansiveness, from knowing its power, from knowing its brilliance, from knowing its mysteriousness. And to welcome it. To be it and to welcome it. To say yes. Yes. I welcome this experience. I welcome this palpable connection into my life so that I can embody it, so that I can share it, so that I can express it in all the ways that only I can express it. And to allow it to touch everyone and everything in my life, in our lives, individually and collectively. And to know that as we do, that sacredness becomes a way of life for everyone, and everything changes. I'm so grateful to know this truth and to speak these words. So grateful for the power of prayer, knowing that these words are loosed into a law that only ever says yes. That my words are clothed in form even as they are spoken. And so I speak them and I release them into that law, letting go and letting God be God. I invite everyone to anchor this prayer for ourselves, for each other, for our community, and for the world, simply by saying, and so it is. And so it is. Thank you all so very much. It is now time for our conscious giving. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is sustained by the giving of our time, talent, and treasure. And this is the time every week when we offer financial support for this community to continue to be a beacon of light and warmth and love in the Greater Triangle area. Together we affirm that today's offering lifts this spiritual community, prospers the one giving, and adds to the energy of sufficiency on the planet. There are 3 different ways that you can give. They're here on the screen or on your screen at home. Visit our website at www.trianglecsl.org. You can text the word GIVE using the following number, 919-230-8445. Or you can mail your gift to our office at our address PO Box 4062, Cary, North Carolina 27519. I now invite everyone to take your gift and place it against your heart with an affirmation for yourselves or for this community, and we will speak our offering affirmation in the call and response. Please repeat after me. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life. I give with gratitude, knowing that God is my source. And so it is. So it is. Thank you all for your generosity. And speaking of being generous, let's all welcome the amazing Sandy Hemingway back to his piano.
This is a chant by Daniel Nahmad. It's called Sacred Love, and it's intended to be sung along with. So if you don't know it when you hear it the first time, only 2 words change each time, and I will tell you what they are. You are sacred love. Sacred love is all you are. You are sacred sacred love, sacred love is all you are. Let's do that again. You are sacred love, sacred love is all you are. You are sacred love, sacred love is all you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are blessed peace. You are blessed peace. Blessed peace is all you are. You are blessed peace. Blessed peace is all you are. You are deepest joy. You are deepest joy. Deepest joy is all you are. You are deepest joy. Deepest joy is all you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are sacred love. You are sacred love. Sacred love is all you are. You are sacred love. Sacred love is all you are. We are sacred love. Sacred love is all we are. We are sacred love. Sacred love is all we are. Is all we are.
Thank you so much, Sandy. That was wonderful. If you would like prayer, please go to our website at trianglecsl.org, and on the home page there's a button in the upper right-hand corner. Click on that button and fill in the request form. We will get your prayer and send it out to all the ministers and practitioners. We love doing that. If you would like to dedicate a flower dedication to anyone for anything, please send an email to info@trianglecsl.org or to Reverend Dusty at dustyrippelmeyer@yahoo.com. And I have 3 announcements today. The first is what is happening after service today. It's the first Sunday of the month. Lunch Bunch. Yes, please come join us. We are going to a local restaurant. We love doing that. A place that we haven't been to before called Roots Guatemalan Grill. And while they do have some authentic Guatemalan dishes, they also have burgers and American food for those less adventurous. And it's only 4 minutes away. So please consider joining us for that. And if you are, just let me know after service. The second announcement is for our holiday bazaar coming up next week. Can you believe it already? Support TCSL and find a wide range of unique holiday gifts at our annual holiday bazaar. Imagine finding all of these items under one roof, and you won't have to battle the crowds at the mall. Artwork, woodworking, food, holiday decor, crafts, books, music, spiritual items, apparel, so much more. We will open at noon after service, and it ends at 4. We're expecting a large crowd, so come early for the best selection. If you have any questions about that, please send an email to info@trianglecsl.org or to the event organizer, Eileen Proctor, at 919-526-0206, and this information is in your newsletter if you didn't write that number down. The third announcement is for our upcoming class. It is our Roots class, and it is a Zoom course facilitated by our very own Reverend Betty Harris. This class provides a student with an understanding of the historical roots in America of Ernest Holmes's philosophy. Specific emphasis is given to the works of Thomas Troward, Emma Curtis Hopkins, and Ralph Waldo Emerson. For 10 weeks, you will be immersed in the wonderful words of these pivotal spiritual teachers, besides having the wonderful company of Reverend Betty and the other students. I think one of the amazing benefits of class is the way that you get to know one another, and it just builds the community so much more. So it's a lot more than just getting your tick for a class that you've taken, or it is a certified class. So if you are on the practitioner track, that is a class that is required. And you have to have had foundations. So if you haven't had foundations, make sure you take that next time it's offered so that you can take Roots the next time it's offered. Classes are Tuesday evenings from 7 to 9 p.m. and it runs from November 21st, that's coming up quickly, through December 19th, and then there'll be a holiday break, and then it'll resume from January 2nd to the 30th. The class is $245, and there are payment plans available. This information is on the website as well as where to register. Now, in the comfort of your own home and here at 4 Points, please stand for our November affirmations. And if you can't see the screen, there's some papers on your chair, and please take those home with you if you'd like to know these affirmations all month long. This is a call and response, and please say it with meaning. As I rise up out of my conditioning, I open myself up to the adventure of finding the sacred in everything.
As I rise up out of my conditioning, I open myself up to the adventure of finding the sacred in everything.
I release assessments, judging, and labeling, and simply experience life.
I release assessments, judging, and labeling, and simply experience life.
Letting loose the idea that the sacred is something separate, I begin to see the entire experience of life as sacred, including the mundane and the profane.
Letting loose the idea that the sacred is something separate, I begin to see the entire experience of life as sacred, including the mundane and the profane.
When I am able to move past the surface of things, I realize the sacred is found in all things because it is all things.
When I am able to move past the surface of things, I realize the sacred is found in all things because it is all things.
I know that oneness is right here, right now, and I choose to notice it.
I know that oneness is right here, right now, and I choose to notice it.
Being with the sacredness of what is, I am simply grateful for all of it.
Being with the sacredness of what is, I am simply grateful for all of it.
Everything is holy, just the way it is, including me.
Everything is holy, just the way it is, including me.
And so it is. Thank you. Please be seated. And once again, turn within as I speak a word of gratitude for our service today. So grateful for this time with the sacred. Grateful for this opportunity to gather and really open our hearts and minds to embrace all that is sacred. To learn a little different way to live life, to recognize the sacred in all that we live. I know that we are all one with that sacredness. I know that it is an overdwelling and indwelling presence, and we are immersed in it, and it flows through us as our very life. So grateful for Dusty's message today. So grateful for Sandy's beautiful songs. So grateful for each person here in person, for the light that you are, for the presence that you are in our community. I'm grateful for the awareness, for the instruction to be prepared to be stunned by the beauty of life. As we go about our week, giving way to that flow of sacred life, I am knowing that we are each even more grateful for each breath. And so it is.
Thank you all so very much for being here today, for all of your energy and all of your love. Thank you for joining us, inviting us into your homes. Have an absolutely amazing week. Consider coming to Roots, the Peruvian restaurant, for us with Lunch Bunch. Celebrate the November birthdays. And we'll see you next week. I love you all.